Hey, Miami sports fans. Stop by Caneswear today at 2655 South University Drive in Davie, Florida. And check out their awesome merchandise selection of your favorite South Florida sports teams. From the Miami Dolphins, Hurricanes, Heat, Marlins, Florida Panthers, and Inter Miami, they've got it all. Celebrate your favorite team and show off your fandom with their beautiful team starter jackets, killer-looking helmets, team jerseys, cool shirts, and more. And if you're out of town or out of state, no worries. Go to Caneswear.com and find everything they have on their site. Select what you want, and they will ship your gear to you. Anything over $99 is shipped for free. Don't wait. Stop at Caneswear today.
All right, hello everybody, and welcome to another edition, the final regular season edition of the Miami Dolphins pregame show on the FinStanza Sports Network. I'm your host, Bobby FinStanza, joined by the one and only FinStanza Posner. And my goodness, the grand finale, the main event of the NFL regular season for the AFC East Heavyweight Championship of the world. Dolphins versus Buffalo Bills in Hard Rock. What a game on prime time. FinStanza, I know you've been talking all week. I know what you were saying last week, but it is a new day, sir. We know what's going to happen next week. We know there's really two opponents we can face next week. There's a third one if there's a tie. We know that, okay, if Miami wins tonight, just like last year, if Miami wins tonight, they're going to face Buffalo again next week in the wild card at Hard Rock. So it'll be three in a row. Then you got if they lose tonight, they will go against Kansas City at Arrowhead, and then if it's a tie, they go against Courtney's family team, Pittsburgh Steelers in Miami. And wow, you ignored Doll's DM. Shame, shame, shame. Everybody, welcome to Dolphins pregame show. If you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, X, we appreciate you. Hop on over to YouTube, smash that like and subscribe button. Let's talk Dolphins. FinStanza, before we roll in, how the hell are you?
How am I? I got to have a fantastic vacation in the Big Apple. I got to wear all my Dolphins gear. No one actually heckled me. I guess I was kind of surprised that no one heckled me when I wore Dolphin stuff in the Big Apple. Had a great time. Walked the Brooklyn Bridge. Went to Brooklyn. Went to see a show. Took the kids on the subway for the first time. Did like 15,000 steps a day. Had a fantastic time. Got to skip my podcast because trust me, that wasn't a day to be on a week for me to be on the bandwagon. As you can tell, I'm already ready for the Heat season, the Heat playoff run where they're going to go to the finals, because I believe in my Heat, and I'm ready for baseball season because in 2 weeks from now, was it a week from now? Yeah, a week from now, we'll be saying salute to the Dolphins. The season will be over. So I'm already ready in Heat gear and look at this. Isn't this cool? Look at this beautiful jersey.
Very nice.
Isn't that beautiful? I'm ready for Heat season. I'm ready for baseball season. Hockey season will come up also. We have hockey season. I'm very excited. Aren't you? This has been a fantastic season. Typical Dolphins drama. We have a 3-game lead. We choke it away because that's such a Dolphins thing to do. We get to face our daddy, Josh Allen, tonight. And no matter what happens, we have two awful things that can happen because it ain't going to be a tie. Either the Dolphins finally awake themselves. Finally, they awake. They awaken, and they win this football game. But then they have the reward. Let's get Josh Allen again. Like, oh, fantastic. Thank you, Jacksonville. We have been bad this year, but boy, oh boy, has Jacksonville been worse. Talk about a choke job. You literally have 2nd and 2, and you can't even convert 2nd and 2, 3rd and 2, and 4th and 2. Shame on you, Trevor Lawrence. What basically I want to give you clarity, Bobby, because you and I haven't spoken in detail about the Dolphins in detail this week. What got me on Monday because I didn't watch it because we went out for dinner and then we had our post-game show, was Tua's comment. Tua made a comment, we are exactly where we want to be. You're exactly where you want to be? You just lost by 37. Ironically, that's an interesting number. Want to know why? Because the average amount of points that you've allowed your other team to score in your losses is 37. How many of you scored for the number one offense in the league? 19. There's such a lack of urgency. You see the look on all the other teams yesterday. Like you see the anger. You see D'Amico Ryans yesterday in that tight game. You see the emotion that he has. Mike McDaniel on Thursday, the number one thing people got out of the press conference was the fact that he was still making jokes. The Dolphins choked away a 3-game lead. And you and I know this because we're such lifelong Dolphin fans, and so is everyone who's watching. We have not won the division since 2008. We have not won a playoff game in 23 years. But you're now telling me that finally the opportunity has come where the Patriots stink. The Jets do not have Aaron Rodgers, who they'll have next year. And Aaron Rodgers is going to come motivated and they're going to revamp that team. Buffalo is going nowhere. So you had the opportunity to either win the division, solidify the 1 seed, and we have everything's okay, kumbaya, everything's fantastic, everything's blah, blah, blah. Even if they win today, what do you get as your reward? You get Josh Allen again? Fantastic. If you lose, go on the road and go to Arrowhead. Fantastic. This is ridiculous. This is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. And also you're facing a team that has won 5 in a row. They've been in the playoffs in their mentality for 5 weeks. Miami Dolphins right now are the reason I'm concerned, just to let you know why I'm also concerned, is the moment it became a night game, I said to myself, oh my God, it's past Vic's bedtime. The 3 leaders of this football team are your quarterback, your defensive coordinator, and your offensive coordinator. And those 3 guys look completely disinterested in wanting to win a Super Bowl this year. They look completely disinterested. They're saying, it's okay. We're exactly where we need to be. So for me, I'm trying to do, in theory, Bobby, I think you know how I am. It's a little bit of a reverse psychology because the last time I said all this, we won. But at the same time, there's a certain level of frustration I do have with the fact that as a 41-year-old who's been a Dolphins fan since I was 3 or 4 years old, I went to my first game.
Hold on. I just want to welcome, that's my brother's in the house. Nick's there. Good to see you, man. Glad that you're able to tune back in. I know he's been offline for a while. He's traveling the world. As always, good to see my brother there. Love you, man. Happy New Year. Hope you're doing good. Fins up, my man. That's my brother, Nick Voss. For everyone who's just tuning in, if you haven't checked him out, go to YouTube, check out Nick Voss, go to Spotify. Here's music. It's my baby brother. All right.
Awesome. I love Nick. No, by the way, the 53 passer rating, that was against Bill Belichick. And if you remember what I said last week, Bill Belichick always gives Josh Allen fits. There's a difference. The Patriots do not lay down for the Bills. The Dolphins lay down for the Bills. Or when we finally do something well with the Bills, we either stop running the ball when it's 7 yards to carry. Thank you, Mike McDaniel. Or we forget what down it is, Mike McDaniel. So this, for me, until they show me something different, I love my Miami Dolphins. The problem I have is there's a lack of fire in this team. Because you know this, Bobby. Answer me these yes or no. Do you think the Dan Marino of the 80s and 90s walking back to the bench losing by 30 would be smiling or saying at the press box, we are where or Don Shula would be there making jokes?
No. Yeah.
They
it.
choked the bed. They should have clinched this division 3 weeks ago, and they choked like dogs. And Mike McDaniel is a microcosm because you know what he is? He's exactly like Chris Greer. They're all about making everybody like them and less worried about winning football games. Because this goes back to the Chargers game, the 49ers game, the Green Bay game, the Buffalo game, the Buffalo game, 3 games in a row, the Chiefs game, the Eagles game. Every loss, you could put on partly on Mike McDaniel. Mike McDaniel has a significant role. He has no way of managing a team when they face adversity. He always said adversity is the greatest sign of opportunity. Yeah, every time you face adversity, you crap the bed on your opportunity. And even if they win today, Bobby, are we jumping for joy? We get to face Josh Allen again. Like, that's not exciting for me. That's not exciting at all.
So let me just say this. First off, again, everybody, thank you for all tuning in. You're watching Dolphins pregame show on the FinStanza Sports Network. Dolphins are going to take on Buffalo Bills at Hard Rock for the AFC East Championship.
Go, Jay.
If Miami wins, we know they will face Buffalo again. Buffalo is in after Jacksonville crap the bed. They'll face Buffalo again at Hard Rock next week. So everyone will stay put, go back to game 3 there, and see if Miami could overcome. Last year, Miami faced the Buffalo in the playoffs. Miami lost. That was in Buffalo. Last time Miami faced Buffalo in Miami, Miami won that game. Just hearsay here. Miami's record, obviously, at home this season is 7-1. I want to say this. Evan, what was your predicted record before the season started?
12-5.
12-5. Mine was 11-6. So here's what I'm going to say. Okay, they are who I thought they were. It's been a great season. Are you laughing at that comment, or you're laughing at what I just said?
You would have been content with lose a record where when they lose football games, they lose by 3 scores, 3 touchdowns, 3.
I let you talk we started at 5:30. It's 5:41. I let you talk for 10 minutes.
Us.
Wait a second.
The majority of the population lives on this coast. It's 6:44.
Whatever. You know what I'm saying. Talk 10 minutes. They are who we thought they were. To me, all jokes aside, number 1 offense, 9th defense right now, from 20 to 9. Well, they were 4. They dropped to 9. They've had some ugly losses, okay? Ugly losses against great teams, and obviously a bad loss against Tennessee, which I know was only by 1 point, but it was an ugly loss. And Tennessee beat Jacksonville today, so Jacksonville, it's not Tennessee's not a team to sleep on. But I called 11-6. Where did I have them finishing? Do you remember where I had them finishing?
Second in the division.
No, in the playoffs. I had them going 11-6, going into playoffs. When did I have them dropping out?
After they win 1 playoff game.
No, they go to the AFC Championship. They lose in the AFC Championship. That's how I had it playing out. So
too realistic.
Excuse me?
You were over.
How many games have Dolphins lost consecutively? When they've lost a game, did they lose the next game?
No.
Have they lost the next game? No. Okay. All right. Last time Miami beat Buffalo, where was it?
Miami.
Exactly. What's Miami's record at home?
7-1.
There you go.
What's the one game?
What's their record at night?
Not very good.
Pull up their primetime record.
This season,
pull up their primetime record. And for the last,
they haven't won a game this year at night. They lost to the and they lost to the Titans. They're 0-2.
And there's another one. They're 0-1. We know they've already. That way, we know if they were 8-0 at home, I might be a little more concerned in regards of a loss, because I would say, hey, you know what? They're eventually going to drop 1 at home. But you know what? Because they've dropped 1, I'm okay. They're owed 1 at prime time, and I think this would be the night to do it. I know I didn't say this. The only quarterback that showed up was Ryan Tannehill. I'd feel a whole lot better but I'm not going to. Anyway, I'm not as down on this Dolphins football team as you are right now.
I'm not down on the football team. I'm down on the coaching staff and the quarterback.
It's the football team.
No,
that's the football team.
No, it's not.
Who coaches your football team? The coach. Who does the coach coach? The football team. Who's the quarterback of your football team? So you're down on the football team. I believe in this team as a whole. I think this team, how do you call this? Phases out the weaknesses of your coach or your quarterback. And I'll tell you what, you got to remember, a coach is in his second year. He's in his second year.
What's DeMeco Ryan?
I don't care about DeMeco Ryan. McDaniel went to the playoffs last year. DeMeco Ryans, I love DeMeco Ryans in
into the
Houston.
playoffs.
Listen to me. I love DeMarco Ryans. Let me talk.
They
I
back.
love DeMarco Ryans and the hire, and I love Houston Texans. I think they're doing great, and I'm very happy for them. But they're going to get bounced in the playoffs, just like Miami got bounced last year. The reason why they're going to get bounced, yesterday, whenever yesterday, I think when they won, that was their Super Bowl. They were crying. Oh my gosh, it's such a moment. Remember the Titans. Play the music. You didn't win shit. You just got into the playoffs. They're going to get bounced. So I don't want to hear about DeMarco Ryans. Mike McDaniel has gone to the playoffs 2 years in a row. 2 years in a row with a quarterback that you say is a robot. With all the drama that was last year, he was 9-8, the same record as Brian Flores the year before. 9-8. Now is 11-5, possibly 11-6 or 12-5 the following season with the number one offense in football. With multiple injuries, everybody gets an excuse when they have multiple injuries. The Dolphins don't. I don't believe in injury excuses because it's next man up. But the Dolphins, with all the injuries, Jalen Phillips, now Bradley Chubb, Raheem Mostert, we knew, who has had a phenomenal season. He won't be there tonight. He wasn't there last week. He won't be there tonight. Hopefully he'll be there for the wild card round. But he's had the same kind of concerns throughout his career about injuries. Again, it's the same scenario here. That's why I was saying we need a powerhouse back who could be there. Oh, don't worry, we got Jeff Wilson. Who? So let's go ahead and give the Dolphins their flowers. They are who we thought they were. I didn't overhype the Dolphins before the start of the season. The Dolphins have exceeded my expectations in regards to number one offense in football. They've exceeded my expectations on defense. They are who they thought they were. And guess what, though? I believe, like I said, they were going to go 11-6, even though I think they're going 12-5. I have a predicted win today. Spoiler alert. I said they were going to go 11-6, and they're going to go to the AFC Championship. Now, let me tell you something. The way this team has showed the way they played throughout the season, coming off a loss, responding, even if they were to lose today, I would feel better about going to Arrowhead than I would about beating Buffalo Bills again next week. I would feel better about going to Arrowhead, let me say it again, against Kansas City than I would to go against. So if they were to lose tonight, I'm not going to be here pulling out my hair or screaming, oh, it's all over, we're done. I'm going to say, all right, let's go. Kansas City beat us in Germany. We're going to beat them in Arrowhead. So it's not the end-all. Instead of looking, we know what the flaws of this football team is. It's not new to me. It may feel like it's new to you, because you got your fan glasses on before the season and it's all woohoo.
No, I said 12-5. What's
reasonable? To me, I've said what their concerns are. Those pop up all of a sudden. It's news to everybody. But guess what? This team is who we thought they were. But we should be grateful to where the team is right now and believe that this team is going to make that step. It's like, oh, we got Buffalo. We're going to lose next week too. Believe. Believe.
If Ted Lasso was our coach, if Ted Lasso was my coach, I'd have confidence that we
have Ted Lasso as our coach. That's your problem.
No, we don't have. Where's Roy Kemp?
We have Ted Lasso.
Give me my Roy Kemp. Give me my Roy Kemp.
Hey, we have Ted Lasso. That's the problem. That's what you don't like.
No, what's his name?
And I get it. I get it.
Daniel is not him. What's his name? Who's the short guy with the hair? What's his name? Who left? I forget his name. No, we need our Roy Kemp. Where's our Roy Kemp?
We don't have a Roy Kemp. But let me tell you something. Look,
way, can
and don't get me wrong, I'm with you. I'm not all about the jokes, dude. We're in the playoffs. We should be happy. Yeah, but you know what? When you lose like that and you're losing against teams that you should be putting up a fight. If the Dolphins would have lost against Baltimore and a nail biter like they beat Dallas, if it was 22-20, there would be I would be less disappointed against the loss of Baltimore because you got your ass beat. Smacked around. And see, Eliana agrees with me. She is going off. She agrees that Mike McDaniel should not be joking around like that. You shouldn't be joking around like that. You just got your ass handed to you. You got your ass handed against Dallas. Against Baltimore, against Buffalo weeks before and earlier in the season. You need to show up. And this is the game you got to show up, especially with all the injuries. And I know Miami knows that. And I expect Miami to put that on paper and make it a true result today. Miami has not lost 2 in a row. They won't lose 2 in a row tonight. Miami is 7-1. They're going to go 8-1 tonight. All right. How many years did Belichick coach before going to the Super Bowl?
At New England, I think 3, 2, not even 2.
And he had Tom Brady.
Whoa, but Tom Brady was a nobody when he first started, and they won tight football games. But let me just be honest with you about something.
Yeah.
What concerns me about this team is not the talent. I love this football team. What I don't like is the lack of accountability on the part of the leaders of this football team. Tyreek Hill in every single big game, whether it was the Eagles, if you look at the Eagles game, if you look at the Chiefs game, and you look at the last week's game, he has dropped footballs, he's caused turnovers, and he's made mistakes. Tua Tagovailoa has screwed up in all 3 games, has played poorly. Mike McDaniel did not have the right coach, did not have the right game plan, and I don't understand Vic Fangio. Well, let me ask you something. On the first drive of this football game, do you know how the game is going to go? The moment you look for Stephon Diggs, if you look at Stephon Diggs and where he's lined up, if Jalen Ramsey is not in front of Stephon Diggs, have a nice day, game 100%, over. 100%. Vic Fangio is a one-and-done coordinator, like you've said. He has no interest in being here because basically you are saying you're unwilling to adjust. And by the way, I keep on nagging her for it. I'm the one who said it on the post-game show and said it on before she said it, before Courtney said it. I believe Vic Fangio was remote in Florida, in the old people's home, doing this game because he's the first time in all games all season they never showed him. Every game we played, whether it was in Germany, whether it was in Philly, no matter what, you showed a picture of Vic Fangio. He was the one coach they never showed. I am just disappointed in the lack of accountability, in the lack of fire when something bad happens. If I'm Tyreek Hill and I drop that football, I don't care if he's Tyreek Hill. Tua should be ripping him a new one as the quarterback of this football team. Because it was a momentum changer. And you what also got me, Bobby? There was 2 minutes left. You're down by 8. You're rushing a play for a quarterback that needs time to get into the pocket and settle. When Mike McDaniel did that, I said to myself, this is one of the most cockiest. He makes Brian Flores look tame in terms of his cockiness level. He outsmarts himself every single big moment. It's unbelievable. Because watch this, A-Chain, A-Chain averaged over 7 yards a carry last week. Watch it. A-Chain's going to go off again today. And he's going to start throwing the goddamn football into tight windows. How many balls did we see last week? Did you go rewatch it? Do you know how many plays the robot Tua threw where the guy was not there? Because he released the football, assuming the guy would be there. The miscommunication on the defense and the offense last week was hilarious. I started laughing. I go to myself, Bret is right. Like everything Bret has said about the foundation of this football team, the lack of communication, the lack of depth, like the offensive line doing what they can. My concern right now is the reason why is you are who they thought they were, but the Dolphins were on the verge of doing something greater than what you thought, and they choked the bed. That Tennessee game right away said to me, they don't have the eye of the tiger. They did not have the eye of the tiger.
Fair. Fair enough. And again, and I'm speaking on this game. All that extra stuff, I'm not there to disagree with you. I've been saying it. I talked about it in that Tennessee game when Tennessee scored and Will Levis was ready to go and he looked all fired up on the sideline. You looked at Tua and he was there like, you looking at things, looked like he had no care in the world. And you look at Dan Marino. Marino's biting his lip with red face, looking like he wanted to go out there and throw, and go that comeback. We need that fire, no doubt. But you know what? That's something to address, I hope, in the offseason. And God willing, but I'm looking towards this season, and I believe that this team, like they did last year in Miami against Buffalo, they could do it again. And I know the primetime game record for Miami is not great recently. It sucks. Miami seems to shrink under the bright lights and against strong teams. I don't know what it is. Utah Fins fan is not wrong. You know, it is what it, and yeah, the cockiness gets tiresome after a while, or you know, it is what it is.
Misses us, yeah. She doesn't say hi anymore, but she misses us on this show. That's nice.
Marissa, what's up, girl?
Shoot
Marissa
me a
Marino in the
message once
house.
in a while.
Great to see you.
Jeez.
The one and only Marissa Marino, guys. If you're not following her, you're missing out. Go check her out and her show on Dolphins Talk.
Has she been listening to me?
Great
She must
friend.
have missed. She must have missed the first 28 minutes, or else she'd be raking me over the coals.
She probably tuned in and then turned it off when she was hearing you. Dolphantina, great to see you. Why haven't we seen Craig Kraft? I don't know. He's on the roster? He's on the practice squad, isn't he?
No, he's on the team.
He's on the active roster, isn't he?
Yes, of course he is.
Well,
he's on special teams. He's on the field. He's just acting like a decoy. And by the way, can I make another important point?
Yeah.
Which is critical. When the team is saying they are still adapting and developing after 17 weeks, you're supposed to be an elite football team. When Chase Claypool, when was he traded for? Fourth week? Week 4? Week 3? Week 4? I can't. When he last week didn't know where to be in the motion. When he didn't know where to be, and he's been on the team for 12, 13 weeks. When the defense, who's been with Vic Fangio, who's up in the goddamn booth, which I told you I disagree with. I don't care what the advantage of the field is. And the guys are miscommunicating with each other and yelling at each other. That is an unprepared football team. That starts with the coach. That starts with the head coach. And unfortunately for me, he continues to tell me that his team is a middle-of-the-pack football team that still needs time to grow when your team is so top-heavy with elite talent. And by the way, I don't know about you, Bradley Chubb's career right now is affected by Mike McDaniel's stupidity. There's zero reason he should have been in that football game. The same way Jalen Phillips shouldn't have been in that football game. It's one of those things that I'm going to put on my Tua jersey for the game. I like the person. I like McDaniel as a person. But what I'm sick and tired of being a fan of this team, I've been following this team for 35 years of my memory. I was 6 years old putting on the TV whenever I can get it. This team is beyond the word frustrating. And then ship me back like she never asked me to ship her cookies. I never got the order. By the way, was that not one of the funniest pictures? How perfect was that? Right? How perfect was the fact that I walked into a store and came out with the black and white?
It was
cookie?
awesome. It was
Isn't that
awesome. John,
awesome?
thank you for tuning in, and thank
Lucky
you.
I mentioned her. I mentioned all of you.
Yeah, appreciate you, man. Thank you for the super I haven't worn my Tuesday jersey all year. Tonight will be the night. Hey, tonight's the night. Listen,
I put it on every game, and it doesn't seem to work for me.
Yeah, Tua must show that he can improvise. That is key. That is key. Oh. And you would put that up there. And this is what I talked to Ralph yesterday too about it. And I was telling him, and we got Bret Lagasse coming on in just a moment.
He missed the first 31 minutes of greatness.
Yeah, I know. He'll carry it on. But I just want to say, no, and that's one thing. And I will say this, and me and Brett talked about this for years now. But we're Tua, and I will say this, something to real now. Good quarterback, yes. Great, sometimes. Elite, no. And I know this season has shown that. And then one of the things that have shown that, and the reason why I will say that, and I'll stop at saying elite, is that, is that improvised issue. I never see it. Evan talks about it all the time. As soon as you see, he throws the ball, no one's there, it overthrows or whatever, because he knows, I'm supposed to throw in that area. But if he notices the guy's not there, why does he not hold on to that ball and go throw it to the next guy or read A, B, C, D, whatever those receivers are? Because, as Evan likes to state, it's the robot effect. He is not improvising. He should. It's a part of the game, but he just stopped short of that. Now, credit to McDaniel, which McDaniel should get the credit. He has gotten the best out of Tua. He has given Tua that second win that he needed. He saved himself. He saved Tua from taking that bust label off, because everybody, it's all Flores' fault, whatever. But you got to see still, that ugly side peeking through, and you would hope that he would save that from himself today. Bring back Boyer.
Before you bring on our next guest, can I just say one thing?
Go ahead.
I just want to give the fact that I'm very ashamed. I don't care what kind of things he had to do for 6 minutes. For 31 minutes, I've been preaching the Kool-Aid that is Bret Lagasse, and he doesn't show up for it. He shows up after I brag about it. I don't understand this. I had such look at this, Bret. I am already ready.
Sorry.
I'm already ready for basketball season. Look at this beautiful Jays jersey. Look at this old school Jays. I'm already ready. Guys, literally a week from now, we're going to be celebrating another Dolphins failed season. Aren't we excited?
Listen.
Elite plays. That's fair. It happens.
I was getting bullied by a 5-year-old and a 4-month-old. All right, it's just the way it is.
And Bobby was being beaten up by me.
But it's still, at the end of the day, if Miami loses tonight and loses in the playoff, if they lose tonight, that means they blew a lead. They blew the number 1 seed in the division, and they blew the division again, and they blew the lead 3 games over the Bills, which means this is what it's time for. Honestly, though, anybody who's using injuries as an excuse, I better not see any of y'all getting excited when Greer turns around and signs guys with a laundry list of injury histories again. I mean, he signs guys with the injury history longer than the damn CVS receipt. And then people are like, oh, we got Jalen Phillips out. Oh, no wonder. The dude had like 8 injuries in college. Bradley Chubb, the guy who's played 1 full season in the NFL. Teron Armstead. Oh, well, who could have predicted that? The guy who's never played more than 12 games in a season. Like, it's who could predict that all these guys who have never played a complete season would miss time? And then when you have guys like Hunt and Williams out, well, those guys don't miss time, but that just makes it even thinner. Then you go, Eichenberg's our center. Jesus, you must not like Tua that much because you're trying to get the guy killed. But, like, at the end of the day, all that aside, you still have a football game to play. The Bills have their own injuries. Stephon Diggs has been banged up. That back has been killing him. He has not been an elite receiver this year. He's struggling. So, I mean, at the end of the day, this is a winnable game. And if Buffalo comes out with that game plan to run the football, we'll see what happens. But the Dolphins should be able to win. It should fall right into their lap. But I don't know. I'm having a hard time seeing which way this game's going to go. But at the end of the day, like, there's no excuses for this. And Tua has to elevate the offense today. This is a playoff game or a playoff game.
And with Marissa's comment and with Joe's comment, Joe Mannix, great to see you in there, Utah Fins fan. If Tua wins tonight, do you put him as elite?
No.
Never.
Let me ask. Well, that's my thing. Well, no. Do you say if the Dolphins win, or if Tua can put the team on his back and be the reason why they've won this game? Is that what the question really is? Because if so, when has that been the case? And I'm not trying to knock him. It's just, and again, he has to win a playoff game. It's the same thing. If they win tonight and they go into the playoffs to face Buffalo next week and then crap the bed, this season was a failure. Yeah. I don't care if it's 12-5, number 1 offense, number 10, number 6 defense, and you go into next week and you lose in the playoffs, week 1 wild card, it was a failure. Because what does it matter? Now, if you lose tonight and win next week in the wild card, it's a success. Tua on his back. That's different. If Tua has an elite game, let's just say it that way. And then, Brett, I'll let you take over at that part. If Tua has an elite game where it's obvious, man, Tua had himself a freaking ball game, and it was great plays, and he's whatever that may be, that's a conversation to have, no doubt. But if the Dolphins just win, come on, it's another win on the record, but doesn't mean that. Good, great, not elite. That's just my opinion. Brett, continue.
Well, this time of year, it's you need the best quarterback to win. That's hands down. That's the way it's going to go. Look around the league. What quarterback is playing the best is the teams that are winning this week. Trevor Lawrence did not play well today, and you see that their team lost.
2nd and 2, 3rd and 2, 4th and 2. How did he missed every single throw?
Right, but there's something going on with him. He's not healthy, but he can't play like that at all. So it goes back to if you're available, you still have to be able to perform. And I know he's not been healthy, but he's still got to perform. But like you look around the league, this is the time of year, the quarterback has to put the team on their back, right? And they have to perform. And We don't have a talented enough team to carry the quarterback, right? We have a talented enough team that if we had a top 5 quarterback, we wouldn't be 11-5 right now. We'd already won the division, and we'd possibly have the number 1 seed. We at least would have been in that game. So, but we don't have a top 5 quarterback. I don't care how anybody says it. You can look at all the stats you want. The stats since the bye week have not been good. It's inflated. It's inflated against bad teams, and against good teams, he is very, very average. You take this predetermined reads away, and he becomes very average. I'm going somewhere with this point. So you take the motions away, which a lot of defenses do. They just stay put. They stay at home. They do last-minute shifts, and it's been given Tua fits. If Tua can have a good game, honestly, no matter if Miami wins, it's likely because Tua had a good game. It's the only way to put it. So if he has a good game, it's good on him. He's still not elite because he still has to show that he can now elevate to the next level in the playoffs. He still has to show that he can elevate the offense again against Buffalo. And this time it's in Miami, right? So this time or in Miami again, but playoff game, first playoff game of his career. Can you win it? Can you elevate and win again? This time number 2 seed's on the line. You can't blow that. But to me, he needs more than just this game to be considered elite. He needs more than a playoff win to be considered elite. It sounds rough, but he's done so much before that it's just not showing enough. It's to me, he's not showing that he's elite. Then again, the quarterback play around the NFL hasn't been elite. The ones that are elite are Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, and Joe Burrow had a bad year, but he was banged up. Those guys are the elite guys. And right now, man, it's hard to really think that Tua is in that conversation with those guys of, man, that guy, no matter who's out there, you can't stop him. All these people say, well, we got a franchise guy. We tore the roster down 2019. Yeah, we're going to get our guy. We're going to get Tua. And that's all we heard. Tua. Shoved Tua down our throat. It was insane. That's all they clamored. Then they finally got the way, and now they're kind of acting like pampered brats where it's like, well, that's not quite how we wanted it. Flores was a bad guy, was mean to him. He said mean things to him and held him accountable like a bad guy. So he held him accountable like an adult. So now he's got McDaniel, and now everything's better. But if Tua is this great quarterback that you shoved down our throats the entire misery of the 2019 season, then there's no reason in year 4, the second year in the system, that he cannot – that there's no reason he can't step up and carry the offense around him. He still has Tyreek. He still has Achane. Apparently, Waddle is active right now, but questionable. There's still weapons on this offense. Yeah,
he's not playing. He's not playing tonight.
Right now, he's reported as questionable. So I don't know.
But the Tom Pelissero and Ian Rappaport said they're going to sit both of them. They're going to sit him and Mostert tonight.
But that's also a red flag for McDaniel because it sounds like they're like, oh, we made the playoffs. We're good. I thought the whole teardown in 19 was to build a championship team, not, hey, we made it to the wild card 2 years.
You want to win a championship, if you want to win a championship, don't hire an offensive coordinator.
That's not really how that works.
No, but Brett, let me ask you a question. Can I ask you a couple questions? Because you could last week when Tua said we are exactly where we want to be. On Thursday, the narrative coming out of the press conferences wasn't what McDaniel said about the team. It was the fact that when he walked in, he was telling jokes. As a guy who's a student of the game, don't you find the lack of urgency, the lack of desperation, the lack of the opportunity, of the fact that this was your opportunity with Aaron Rodgers being out all year, the Bills having to win 5 in a row to get to this point, the Patriots not being very good, having the opportunity of the 1 seed, that in essence, the Dolphins' progression this year has been somewhat of a failure, especially when the fact that they've basically lost their 5 games, that they've lost 37 by 3 scores. Like, to me, that's a failure. I don't care what the record is. In games where they have to step up, they totally crap the bed.
Well, we look back and we say, people say, well, you just want them to go undefeated. It's not really the case.
No.
But turn around and say they had lost to the Titans. Yeah, they didn't lose that game. We're not in this situation right now.
Exactly.
We already won the division. So you have to take care of the business in front of you. It's nobody else's fault. It's not like, oh, things didn't go our way. No, they had full control. They were leading the division. So yes, it is a collapse and it would be a failure if they don't. let's not forget they still have to win the division yet. They still had that chance. They still are playing for it. I don't know that there's a lack of urgency. I am glad that he's not pouty and just miserable, but I'm not sure that I see that like fire. But like Bobby pointed out last week, McDaniel has not lost multiple games this year. And McDaniel does pretty good with – he's actually – his tenure against the Bills has actually not been bad. So to me, it's still kind of a fluke. We just basically outlasted the Bills last year, right, in the heat. We basically outlasted them, and they were exhausted. And then in Buffalo, it wasn't – they didn't get blown out. It wasn't – I don't consider that a lopsided game. I consider that like a shootout that the better team won, right? And then in Buffalo in the playoffs, we didn't really get blown out. They gave them a little bit of a fight with a bunch of backups and just a ragtag team, right? And then this year, the first butt whooping by Buffalo for McDaniel. So I'll give McDaniel that. He always seems to have a decent game plan against the Bills, but something to keep in mind, Tyreek never usually has a good game against the Bills in his entire career. So the Bills will have something for him, and that zone defense that they run gives Tua fits because it closes off the tight windows, and that's where he has to step up. But like McDaniel also has to scheme that and has to be prepared for that. So I'm hoping there's a sense of urgency in that sense to say, I'm going to give my best damn game plan that I have for this game. Like not all and exhaust everything, but step up. Like be ready for everything the Bills are going to throw at you. That's my hope.
Let me just confirm for Evan Bret that so Javon Holland and Jerome Baker are both active. Baker is back, which is good news. But Raheem Mostert, Jalen Waddle, and Howard are all out. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Let's be real here. I think it is. I mean, I think it was noticeable him out of the lineup the last few weeks.
I honestly, so this is. It's not going to make any sense.
Can we just make a quick sense before?
Yeah.
I just want to give a congratulations to a member. I made this prediction at the beginning of the year, Bobby, and I have to just say this. And he was shocked when I said it. I want to say to Dave Stager, I told you so. I can roll back the tape. You didn't believe me, Mr. Stager. I told you your Packers would make the playoffs. And the Green Bay Packers, congratulations, you made the playoffs.
Yeah.
So
congratulations, Dave Stager.
Man, stupid Flores. He went to draft Jordan Love. I can't believe that.
Good shame on him.
So
anyway.
The inactives list is out. We just kind of touched on it, but of course, Skylar Thompson is the emergency third quarterback. Jalen Waddle, Howard, Raheem Mostert, all out. Ethan Bonner is out. Keon Smith and Tyler Kroft for the Miami Dolphins. Those are your official inactives for today's game.
And Xavier Howard one sucks because our front office has zero plan at cornerback. They drafted projects like Greer loves to do, and Cam Smith is not ready. Shocker, the guy didn't fit the system. And, Greer did not trust or did not listen to Fangio whatsoever and for anything. And every time so now we're dealing with another situation like Tyndall. So, talent level is the problem. And Evan, this is what I keep going back to you with. The talent level is my problem. So for me, Holland had a terrible game last week. Those knees are hurting him. So if I'm the Dolphins, I don't want to start him. It sounds bad. I would rather have Brandon Jones filling in this week, at least most of the game, because I worry about Holland if he gets hurt even worse. I would just let him rest those because they're sprained. He's got sprained MCL. So it's like let him rest his knees and get Brandon Jones as many reps as possible and go from there. Because I'm worried that Holland might get hurt and we might lose him for the playoffs. And I'm not for resting players, but I feel like we can get by without him with those because he was a shell of himself last week. Right? And that bothers me a little bit. And I don't want I would hate to lose him for an important game next week too.
And I will say congratulations to Josh Wingate and his Dallas Cowboys. They won the NFC East. And I will say that's why I feel good about tonight as well, because Cowboys and Dolphins have kind of been neck and neck in regards to how the way their season's been going. So, hey, that's just another, what do you call Shakespeare playing itself there. This is a tale of the tape. First off, we do know Buffalo is favored tonight by 2.5 points. Buffalo Bills are 10-6. Dolphins 11-5. Buffalo on the road is 3-4, where Miami is 7-1 at home. Average points for this season, Miami has scored 30 points a game. For Buffalo, it's 26.9, which is about 27 points a game. Average points allowed, Miami's allowed more, 23 points compared to Buffalo, 19 points. Buffalo is ranked the fifth best offense compared to Miami being number 1, and defense number 9 for Miami and Buffalo, just right under there at 10. Number 1 offense, though, in football. I know Bret's taking care of his kid, but he'll pop right back in just a minute. But I will say that Miami, even though they're the number 1 offense, Evan, throughout the season, statistic wise, I want everybody to just forgive me. I have strep, so just my ear been killing me and all that. So if I sound a little weird and off, that's what it is. Even though they're number 1 offense overall, they haven't played like it. It's really the defense, which the defense, of course, laid an A last week, but we and I kind of went back and forth. Defense, though, has been kind of the saving grace for Miami the past few weeks besides last week, because the offense has been kind of wet in the bed a little bit, not showing up. Today has to be the day. This game right here, December is over with. Today has to be the day that the offense, also with the defense, has to show up, because the offense has not been the number 1 offense in football the last few weeks. So I would hope that tonight, even though I know Raheem is out, Jalen Waddle is out, you still have Tyreek Hill. Okay, you still have, even though Courtney won't like it, you still have Barrios. Sorry. Devon Achane. You could still put up the numbers you need to put up. It has to be an all-around win. You got to do what you did against the Jets, which is no easy feat against the Buffalo Bills, but you have to have that type of game. Not 30-0, but you have to have an all-around good game. Evan, let me ask you, Raheem Mostert is out. I know that the report came out. I forgot who was it from. May have been Adam Schefter. I'm not sure. Either way. But he said that Miami is – it was Daniel Jeremiah, I believe. He said that Miami is looking at this game. They're not – because it wouldn't be surprising even for Miami or Buffalo to go into the second half and say, you know what, let's sit down one of our guys. We know we're both going to the playoffs next week. We got to be ready for next week. Supposedly, Miami is saying, no, even though these guys are out, they want to win today. They want to win the AFC East. They want to go into next week because they know that they're 7-1 at home. They know that going through Hard Rock is going to be tough. They know they do better at home. So for you, let's say this is and it's not my prediction at all, but let's say my Buffalo's winning by 2 scores going into the half. Whatever. Let's say 24-10. It's been a physical game. Enough for us to go, oh man, we're getting a little nervous here and there. Tua's getting hit, HN, whatever. Tyreek blew out his back again because Tua overthrew him, whatever. At halftime, I'm sorry. But if at halftime, if you were McDaniel, would you say, okay, you know what? Let's sit our guys. Or are you going, no, we need to win this game tonight?
I honestly, just because I have such a lack of faith in this team right now heading into tonight's game, just save it for next week. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about it, but to have to face Josh Allen or to have to go Tyreek Hill, get his game in Arrowhead, I don't know. I just it's tough.
So that's a good question.
I think we have a better chance of beating the Chiefs than we do the Bills.
Okay, Bret, same question. That's a great segue. Buffalo, or if you had to, and then let me say, Joe, this is how it plays out. If Miami wins tonight, they face Buffalo next week at Hard Rock. If they lose, they go to Kansas City at Arrowhead. If they tie, they'll go against Pittsburgh at home in Miami. Those are the 3 scenarios. Bret, between Kansas City and Buffalo, because we doubt Miami's going to tie. You never know; things have happened. But what would you rather? Would you rather face Buffalo or Kansas City?
Oh, I'd rather be at home. Honestly, I've said this. I'd rather be at home. Period. So give me the home game, right? I'd rather not be in Kansas City. A lot of people are going to say Kansas City, but I'd rather not be in Kansas City. But the road for Miami to make the Super Bowl is at home, in the home game, and win a division. I don't rest. I'm not resting players. The only player I might be resting is Holland, and that's just because. What good is he on the field if he's hurting so bad that he can't cover like normally? He can at least cover the field. You might as well just rest him, or else you're going to have a lot of blown coverages. That's the only player I rest, and it's just for a level of play. That's it.
Brett, quick question. First drive, you see Diggs, but you don't see Ramsey lined up against him.
You won't.
Did that just tell you that we don't stand a chance?
It tells you that the other players better step up. The only thing I dislike about Fangio's system that it plays left side, right side, but there's also a reason for that, because if you try to follow, they're going to get stuck in man, and then you don't want to get stuck in man either. So there's a lot of reasoning behind that, but you do kind of want them to shadow a little bit. But there is a reason behind it, and at the same time, there are ways around that. But honestly, the safeties have to do a better job. The linebackers have to do a better job, and everybody in the pass rush has to do a good job. But the secondary is the reason the pass rush was working early on. So I don't know. If I want them to go for the division. We didn't get into this. We didn't get into this for wild card. We didn't get into this to tuck our tails between our legs and say, okay, we'll be ready next week then. No, screw that. You go into the division and you just deal with it. Like, that's what you need to do. And you need to step up and win it, and you just need to keep fighting through. And, the Giants were counted out in 2007 when they made the wild card, and they won every game of the road. I believe the Steelers, when they went to the Super Bowl won, they were a wild card. So just because you're a wild card doesn't mean you're a bad team either. But, for me, it's the way the Dolphins would become a wild card team would be the frustrating part, but you still can't give up just the wild card. So I'm not going just saying, let's just accept wild card, because that's not what you get into this for. You want to win the division, and that's one of the goals. And I don't think McDaniel's saying, let's just play for the wild card, we're good. That's just my opinion.
No, and so let me just read some of these comments here. And again, everybody, thank you all for tuning in. Again, you're watching the Dolphins pregame show on the FinStanza Sports Network. If you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button. We appreciate you watching. We got great content. I saw somebody brought up the draft earlier about drafting a linebacker. Hey, we already got our draft content building up. We got Draft Guide working on a draft guide. We got the On the Clock show coming back. Josh Wingate, Bret Lagasse. FinStanza participated last year. We'll have Michael Vogel, Coach Vogel will be on with us. And then, of course, our Touchdown in Paradise crew will participate as well. So a lot of great draft content coming up. Wildcat, I don't trust two in big games. And they're not winning in Kansas City. It's going to be 10 degrees. That's Wildcat. Appreciate you watching, brother. Duke says, control the clock. Keep Allen on the sideline. Short passes, long drives. Love it. That's actually one of my keys. John says, Finns were embarrassed by the Ravens. They need to redeem themselves. Winning the division at least gets us a T-shirt to wear for a year. Ray, I like that, Ray. That's right.
I still got 2008 somewhere.
That's right.
Hey,
Steve Malloy, host of Real Talk Fitz Talk. I'm just listening. Good stuff. Appreciate Steve, man. One of the best.
By the way,
guy.
At least we didn't lose 5 of 6 like the Eagles. Talking about choking.
Wow, the Eagles, man.
Eagles. They just fell apart. They just unraveled. That was just
Jacksonville, Philadelphia. I mean, but Philadelphia's still in, but Jacksonville, my goodness.
But by the way, you must, because the Cowboys won, do you know what the Lions get as their reward for making the playoffs? Matthew Stafford coming back home, baby. They're gonna, he's gonna crush their dreams. I'm telling you, Matthew Stafford.
I don't know about that. I wouldn't go that far.
I know it just would be ironic. And then the fact, by the way, Jordan Love has to go to Dallas, and then you have
playoffs are going to be great, man. It's going to be a great playoff run.
The Bucks who made the playoffs. Did the Bucks who made the playoffs have to get the Eagles? The Eagles might just be angry there.
You know, I do want to throw this out there real quick. It's the first time in like 7 years, actually about 10 years now. I won the championship just now. I just won one league, and I won in another league last week. So if I can win 2 championships in fantasy in the same year, if the Dolphins can overcome and go and win the Super Bowl this year. I'm just saying.
It's all
Okay,
entwined.
I'll make a
It's
great
all
prediction
connected.
for you tonight.
But honestly, real quick, I know I've been like beating up on the Dolphins a little bit, but there's no reason they can't win. I'm literally saying they can win this game, and I'm going to disagree with the control the ball, run the ball, second half, get out to a quick start. If they would have run the ball against us, perfect. Stop the run and keep throwing the ball against them. Get up early, because if not, if they start getting the ball in Allen's hands, that's when we're going to be in trouble. That's when we're going to be in a lot of trouble. Unless we can force some turnovers, which with that secondary defense, with losing our pass rush in the secondary, I don't know if they can, but force Allen into mistakes. But I mean, let them run the ball and throw the ball.
Can I give you a hot take? I'll make a crazy prediction.
Huh.
Either the Dolphins get destroyed or Tyreek Hill breaks the record. They go so nuts. The Dolphins have this aberration where they score 50 points and he gets 284 yards to break the record. 283 yards to get the record. One of those two things could happen.
And I doubt it, just because Tyreek Hill's stats against the Bills is so bad. But that would be awesome.
No, but imagine that. Imagine that they play so crazy. Like, Bobby, would you just go loose tonight? Would you play a disciplined football game, or just literally let Tua and Tyreek go nuts?
Let them go nuts.
I let them go nuts. Win the game. Go win. I will say, Washington, I just saw this. I was wanting to talk about the Commanders have now clinched the number 2 overall pick in the NFL draft. So,
and Ron Rivera is likely gone.
Yeah, well, I think Rap Sheet or Ian Rappaport kind of spoiled that, because I haven't seen any official news. But the way he wrote, he goes, the Commanders have clinched the number 2 pick, a gift to the new coach. So
yeah, they on the little scroll, they said that they're likely to part ways with him. I wouldn't want him around my new quarterback anyway. Like, they need a whole fresh start. They need to purge everything and start over there. They need to.
So for the NFC, the playoff picture is now set. 49ers obviously have a bye. Wait your turn. The 49ers have, my dog's hitting the cage. She's like, I'm ready to go to bed. Cowboys.
My dog's at the door.
Yeah, she's like, I want to go take a nap. Cowboys are the 2nd seed. Lions, Buccaneers, Eagles, the 5th seed. Rams 6, Packers 7. Next week, you got Packers at Cowboys. That's gonna be a great game. That'll be a fun game. Rams at the Lions. Stafford traveling back to Detroit. And Eagles at
Buccaneers. I'm looking forward to the NFC games already, man.
Yeah. Go ahead, let me let her in the damn thing.
I'm looking forward to the NFC games already. You got the Packers and Cowboys. That's obviously the history there, but that's going to be fun. And Jordan Love's been killing it. 32 touchdowns. I wish I had a quarterback threw for 30 touchdowns. And
well, yeah, but he doesn't have a running back. He doesn't have running backs that ran for 27 or 28 touchdowns.
Well, that's true. Touchdowns. Well, I mean, but he has a good running back, so I won't take that away.
Yeah, but Achane and Mostert had a bit of a better year than Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon.
Did they? I don't even know.
Stats wise, yes.
But the NFC looks like it's going to be some fun matchups next week. Poor Saints, man. Saints went at it. They battled, and they put themselves, like, this week. They positioned themselves in there. Everything was going right as they wanted, and then it's like, oh.
So let us and again, okay, so here's more. The Bears now own, they're going to have the number 1 pick and the 9th pick in the NFL draft.
Wow.
So and man, what a conundrum. Not a conundrum. I guess it's a good problem to have, because they could either say, hey, you know what? I like what I saw in Fields. Let us go ahead and ransom that number 1 pick, keep within that top 5, because somebody's going to trade up. Yeah. Let somebody jump up, get Caleb, and then maybe get Marvin Harrison to be the 2nd receiver with DJ Moore. I mean, and then they got the 9th pick. They could come out of this draft loaded.
They really can. And, and then they could trade Fields to Miami. On that note, I'll be right
back. You son of a bitch. Way to start a storm. Healthy, we could beat the Chiefs. I believe we can. I get it. It's Arrowhead, and I like the Chiefs, and I respect the Chiefs, and I'm not sleeping on the kids to the Chiefs. But if you were to tell me, would I rather face Buffalo again next week in Miami or Kansas City at Arrowhead, I would rather face Kansas City. But it's going to be tough. As Eric says, 2 against Buffalo will be tough. Evan, I'll ask you, and then we'll get Bret in here.
What are your 3 keys to secure a Miami Dolphins victory today?
Lock Mike McDaniel in his office, lock Vic Fangio in his office, and start Mike White. Just kidding.
So unserious.
Well, wait. I'm serious. I'm following the lead of my head coach. Things are supposed to be loose. Things are supposed to be funny. Okay. Keys to the game?
Yes.
Very simple. Like I said, we have to basically contain Stephon Diggs. If Stephon Diggs is basically against Eli Apple or Kader Kohu, it is going to be a very easy game for Josh Allen to distribute the football. So I need Jalen Ramsey to basically be shadowing Stephon Diggs. That's very, very key. Tyreek Hill needs to have his best game of the season. And I mean, he needs to go for 200 in this game. And I want 0 turnovers from Tua and no sacks. I want a clean pocket for this guy today with no mistakes. If he throws 1 pick, it's over. If Ramsey is not shadowing Diggs, it's over. If Tyreek Hill does not play a key role on deep balls, it's over. I actually on the first play want to see exactly what CJ Stroud did with Nico Collins yesterday. First play, Go deep, get the lead, go.
Be aggressive. Let me ask you this: if they lose tonight, no, I'm going to
when they lose.
If they win, when they win tonight, I'll say it like that. What's up, Dad Dean? There you go. Michelle just won Miss Finn's Pick'ems by last second missed field goal. Congratulations, Michelle. And hello to Miss Finn's. Okay, so
thanks, Tati. I did this for Alex.
So
Alex
when Miami wins, he hardly goes on X. When Miami wins or explores X, he'll go on there and make a comment or two and then leave. When Miami wins, would you be more open to them winning next week against Buffalo?
Would it be confident?
Yeah. Would you be more confident in a win against Buffalo
if they win today?
What would make you come back to the Mr. Positive side, Mr. Bright side?
A clear-cut 60-minute performance. I want to see both sides of the ball play their best game. I want this to be their best game of the season, negating the injuries. Because if they play their best game of the season, negating the injuries, and you get back Waddle and you get back Mostert, you're golden. But if you play a game where you're struggling on one side of the ball, Josh Allen will eat you up. The experience lies on... Because think about this. The Bills have actually faced more adversity than the Dolphins this year. Which was not of their own making. Losing Matt Milano. No defensive coordinator in Leslie Frazier at the beginning of the year. Firing their offensive coordinator. Having a new offensive coordinator. Having injuries at different... They got Daquan Jones back, but they've actually struggled a little bit more. I want to see a sustained victory. And I hope everybody knows this about me. And if you don't know this about me by now, then you haven't been watching enough of the network. I'm doing this because of ingest a lot, because I have such a love for this football team. And the last time I did this, it actually worked. So I'm actually hoping I can strike gold twice. But the one truth about this whole Miami Dolphins thing, which I've never swayed from, is I believe in this football team and what they're made of. The one thing that gives me the gravest of concern, Bobby knows what that is. And until he proves me wrong, I don't believe we can go as far as we can. If he shows me wrong today, he'll get me on his side. But he's yet to prove to me, because the last memory I have of him was not knowing that it was fourth down in the playoffs with a chance to win it. And we should have won that football game. So for me, it's all about the head coach. If the head coach proves me wrong today, a lot of things will change. If he doesn't prove me wrong, same old Dolphins.
All right. And Brett, your 3 keys to secure a Dolphins victory, sir.
Number 1, get off to an early start. Fast. Do not get complacent and make sure we are putting it in the end zone. That's 1. 2, offense. You are the defense today, so the offense is going to have to stay on the field. They're going to have to sustain drives and score points, but the ball's got to be into his hands. Throw the football, get Buffalo back early, and defensively be disciplined and force turnovers. Like, you have to be disciplined today. No gaffes, no mental mistakes, no stupidity. Just stay disciplined. Don't try to do everybody else's job. Just do your job.
Yeah, for me, and I see, I'm going to go to, let me go to Back It Up Bench podcast. Appreciate you watching always. He had his watch days, get pressure, limit mistakes. Excuse me, guys. Dad Dean says, let me make sure, would Buffalo stay in Miami? If that was the case, yes. If Miami wins, Buffalo would stay in Miami. John Green says, I want to see the Dolphins and Fins and Tua win on the final drive. For me, keys to victory is shadow and eliminate Diggs. Jalen Ramsey needs to be on Diggs tonight. Miami has to eliminate him as an option for Allen, force him elsewhere. Number 2, win the time of possession. The Dolphins need to keep Allen and the company off the field, and the best way to do that is to win the time of possession, run the ball, dink and dunk, kill the clock, come off the field with points. And then the 3rd is shake, rattle, and roll Allen. The Buffalo Bills are in the playoffs no matter what happens today. Miami needs to pressure, hit, force Josh Allen to make mistakes, and force Buffalo to take him out of the game. And those are my 3 keys to secure a Dolphins victory. So, Brett, I'll start with you. Your game prediction and final score.
Oh,
don't play nice. Be true for what you is.
The problem is I've actually been back and forth. Every time I pick Buffalo to beat us down, I think, well, maybe Miami could do it. So, you know what? It's the last game of the year. I know I picked them last week, and I look like an idiot for it. But you know what? I'm going to pick the Bills to beat us. I'm going to pick them 31-20, and I'm going to say that in the hopes that the Dolphins prove me wrong.
There you go. So Brett has it Buffalo winning 31-20. Evan.
Yeah.
What's your prediction, Cher?
You won't let me make a prediction. You already told me I have to stick with my prediction from last week. I'm all to change it.
Make your official prediction.
Buffalo 35, Dolphins 13.
God.
You told me I have to keep the prediction I made last Sunday.
Oh my God, 35-13. Woo! But who would be surprised? Honestly, that's the final score. To anybody be surprised? Hey, I do want to say this though, because we are in the playoffs. Here's where I'm saying, let it hang out. You know what I mean? Let them hang out.
Yeah.
Just do it. Just go out there. What's the worst that happens? Yeah, you get beat down. Who cares? At that point, it's then fine. You got next week, but at least go after everything.
And I wouldn't be surprised if Buffalo, maybe Miami, even though it's reported Miami won't do that, but that Buffalo and Miami say, hey, you know what? Buffalo more probably, let's go ahead and rest our guys. Let's not go ahead and roll it out. Steve Malloy has it Buffalo as well. Steve has it 31-23 Buffalo. Let's see. Dad Dean has it 33-28 Miami. And Ray has it 28-21 Miami. What's the weather going to be like in Miami?
I think it's mid-50s right now. I'll check.
And let's see here.
Miami.
All right.
Gardens.
So
Weather.
I have this. I believe this will be a Jason Sanders defense type of game. I believe the offense will score 1 touchdown. I believe the defense will score a touchdown. And I believe Jason Sanders will get 9 points. I have Miami winning 23-20 tonight. Dolphins will win 23-20. That is my official prediction for tonight's game.
I don't feel like my prediction is right. I honestly, for some reason, I don't know why. Every time I feel like the Bills are gonna whoop us, Steve Malloy asked me, I'm like, every time I'm saying, yeah, we're gonna get whooped, and I'm like, are we though? Well, are we really? I don't know. McDaniel's been relatively good against the Bills, so it's hard to say. And he was good the playoff game last year. They considering the situation,
So
it wasn't terrible.
So, you want to update yours before we roll out?
How about the Dolphins lose 31-27? How about that? A heartbreaker. How about that?
31-20.
But I just
I'm ashamed of you, Bret. How come you're more positive than me?
I don't know. I honestly don't know because there's no reason that the Dolphins should lose this game. And I've been hard on them all week.
I'll give you one. Because it will be because when the clock.
Alex is watching, and look what he says. And I said that Jason Sanders kicks the game-winning field goal for Evan tonight.
No, I've been positive about.
Hey,
Jason
last time we said that, it was against Dallas, and it happened.
I'm telling you right now. I just said it. We're gonna win 23-20. Listen. I said a touchdown for the Dolphins offense, a touchdown for the defense, and then 3 field goals for Miami. 9 points for Jason Sanders.
Remember what I just said?
I need more for the offense.
It's either going to be an ass whooping for the Dolphins or an ass whooping for the Bills.
I think it's a lot closer than you think.
If it is, then
I think if the Dolphins win, it's going to be a close game. If the Dolphins lose, it'll be a blowout.
That's fair. That's fair. No. I think you're right.
The Dolphins blowing the Bills out. I would love to see it.
Yep, right there.
We will know.
Or a Zach Sealer strip sack fumble recovery touchdown. One of those two.
We will know if Vic Fan. By the way, you know who has to actually be the best player on defense tonight?
Wilkins.
No, Van Ginkel. Van Ginkel has to be the best because he has to get to Josh Allen. He has to drive him bananas.
Too many people saying that at the season that Bradley Chubb and Jalen Phillips are too big of a loss, and don't get me wrong, they're huge losses for Miami. But Van Ginkel, Sealer, Christian Wilkins, Melvin Ingram, I believe they could fill that.
I like Wilkins, but if you're going to reset the defensive tackle market, I need you to reset the line of scrimmage against these good teams. Right? But it's not terrible. He didn't have a terrible game against the Ravens. I'm just like, I need you to get just that little extra push, against Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen. But he does get in Josh Allen's face a lot. So,
yeah.
But Wilkins, to me, needs to be the guy that steps up in the absence of Bradley Chubb, in my opinion.
By the way,
so there you go. That's the official predictions. I have it as a win. Miami will win tonight. They'll win the AFC East. They'll go and face Buffalo next week, and we'll talk then. Evan has it officially as a loss. Brent has it officially as a loss. Steve has officially as a loss. G-Man, thank you for tuning in, brother. Hunter, this is it. This is the main event. The main event of the NFL regular season. And what other way would you rather go? The Dolphins, they have it in their hands. The AFC East championship. It would have been boring then. It would have been boring. They secured a playoff spot. What would you rather have? Would you rather have had us not, be fighting for a playoff spot at this time or fighting for the AFC? You're acting like if they lose, they're out. If they already have the playoff spot. Tonight's the AFC championship. It's on the line. There's no better way to do it. And the Dolphins will do it today. Stop writing your notes. Nothing's going to change. Talk. Just say it. 35-24 Fins.
In the words of the greatest, the smartest person.
Yes. He's stick with his New Year's resolution at least.
G-Man, I'd rather be healthy, and that's something that's something to watch tonight. If it's a blowout any sort of way, don't be surprised if you see, especially the losing team, say, we're gonna wrap it up. Let us put on our bench and our backups, and let's just follow out because both teams are going to the playoffs. But guys, tonight there will be a post-game show when this game ends immediately after the game. I will try to be there. I might be picking up my in-laws. If not, I will start it, and if FinStanza with whoever's on, we'll finish it. Bret,
no, I got to work in the morning, so I won't be able.
We all have to work in the morning.
I got hell? Maybe I'm at 2 a.m, Bobby.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm just messing with you. I'll mess with you. But either way, we'll be on. We'll figure it out, and we'll react. Hopefully, we will be celebrating a Miami Dolphins victory. If not, we're going to be hearing Posner going into the late hours, going off.
Dad, Dean, if it's a tie, the Dolphins win the division. They get the 2nd seed, and they face the Steelers.
That's correct. Yes.
In Miami.
It's a tie. And see, that's the other thing. AFC East, 2nd seed, go against Buffalo, and and if they tie, win the East, second seed, but face against Pittsburgh. I want to win, but I know it's ugly to say tie, so I'm not going to say. All Greer does is sign and draft injury-prone guys. No wonder the team is in this condition. Preach, brother, preach. Preach, brother, preach. But let's hope tonight is a different story. Hopefully we're back here celebrating a Miami Dolphins victory. That's Bret Lagasse. That's FinStanza. I'm Bobby FinStalk. We'll see you after the game. Like, subscribe, and most importantly, as always, Fins up.
Miami Dolphin fan, let me ask you something. Do you love the Dolphins? Do you think they are the greatest football team? How about the greatest show on surf? If you answered yes to any or all of these questions, then fins up and surfs up to the greatest show on surf.shop today. Celebrate the most explosive offense in the NFL with this awesome exclusive merch. From jackets, hats, shirts, and more, they have it all. Use promo code FINSTALK and save 15% on your order. Show off your fandom. Don't wait. Go to thegreatestshowonsurf.shop today.